Super Cool Radio!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Super Cool Radio interview. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have an awesome guest joining me at this time who I'm very excited to have on the podcast. In 2024, she released 2 killer singles, including Couture and Urban Cowboy. Please welcome country musician and songwriter Cali Tucker.
Hey, everybody. So good to be here. Thanks, Matthew.
Of course. As I said, I know we got quite a bit to discuss. Obviously, the new singles and everything you have in the works for 2025. So I'm curious, starting with the 2 singles that I mentioned, you got to work with PK and Tricia. So how was it working with them?
I mean, it was from the moment we met, it was love at first sight. You know what I mean? Like it's very exciting when you meet a producer and a co-writer and a vocal producer that you just click with, you know, because it's like finding your soulmate. You've got to be able to have so much chemistry with the people that you're working with on your music, because it's so personal. So it was fabulous. I mean, we've written several songs to really get to this point, to where, you know, when we wrote Couture and Urban Cowboy, and we wrote Urban Cowboy actually during quarantine, you know, and that was a magical time. But it took us a while to kind of figure out what the vibe was, and steer in the right direction. But you know, we know what the sound is now. We have this awesome consistency that we have. We know what we want out of this, and everything that we've been recording and we'll continue to release will have this same vibe. You know, so this country pop just jam. So yeah, it's been great. They're amazing people, and I love them. Not just working with them, but just as humans, they're fantastic. I love them very much.
Oh, for sure. And I really like, obviously, you know, the 2 latest singles. As you said, it's a nice combination of like pop, country, and just awesomeness, just all blended in together. So like, I'm curious. So how did that start working with these 2 great people? Like, how did you guys make that connection?
So I perform 6 nights a week out here in Las Vegas at some amazing venues. And Tricia was in town from LA visiting a friend and wound up at my show. And I believe the story goes that before she even met me, she called PK and put the phone in the air so that he could hear my voice and what I was doing. And I guess they were both like in sync and on the idea of, we want to work with her, you know? So I think that's really cool. And yeah, she approached me and we had a great conversation, but I was actually pretty standoffish, because that happens a lot where people will be like, oh, you know, I'm a producer and I know somebody that can, you know, produce you. And so I had my wall up for sure. And then, you know, some time and my schedule freed up, and I thought, I really like this girl. I'm sure her boyfriend and producer that she works with is incredible. You know, maybe I should just give it a shot. So I did. I went down there to Burbank, California, and we started the process of writing and recording, and that the rest is history, you know?
Definitely. And I'm glad it worked out very well with everything. And obviously the results of the, you know, awesome singles that you've released so far, and obviously more to come with it as well. So for you and your experience, was writing these singles, like, was it a different experience compared to previous music you have released before?
Oh yeah. The songwriting aspect of this was completely different and so refreshing. And it's exactly what I needed as someone that doesn't play an instrument. So what's great about the way PK's format is, you know, I'll come to him and tell him I have this idea, whether it's a hook, a thought, a melody, or a combination of like I love all these songs right now, like these 3 songs, like I'm really into it. And for some reason, I feel like they fit in some sort of puzzle piece. And he'll create a track around whatever it is that I'm bringing to the table. And then I'm 100% of the time love the track. And so then we'll write to it, and do our verses, do our choruses, do our pre's, do our bridges. And then we'll dissect it from there, and then we'll record pretty much immediately on the spot, you know. And it's the turnaround is insane. It's really, really cool. He's fast and he's efficient and he's so good and he never misses a beat. And Tricia is such an incredible person to ride around. She brings out the best in me. And as far as like a vocal producer, she helps me figure out things within the song that I wouldn't think to do. So it's really great to have, you know, more brains in the room to just expand on this you know, tiny idea. And you know, it's basically you're planting a seed and just let the flower bloom. You know, you got to give it a little water, a little food, a little sun, a little love. And yeah, that's a silly analogy, but you know, it's really how it is. It's just a simple thought that turns into something way bigger than you ever imagined. So with us 3, I just feel like we're the dream team, you know?
Oh, definitely. And then it's always cool, like when you work with, you know, such great people who have a mind for like music and the business, that you learn new things, or that you like don't consider other angles that you wouldn't normally do if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, no, it takes a village, I think, because you can get set in your ways pretty easily when it comes to music. Like, no, I really like that line or that melody. And then somebody else, you know, they come in with a different idea. You're like, oh, that is way better. Yeah. So, yeah, you can't be too stuck on something. You have to broaden your horizons.
Exactly. So I'm curious. So with, you know, last question about the producing side, I do got a few other questions, but I'm curious. So like working with PK and Tricia, like what's like the biggest thing you've learned through working with them?
Let's see, a lot. Shoot. Tricia has been great in the aspect of like ad libs, and I love the way she's taught me how to do that, because I don't think it's something that's taught. You just have to feel it within the song, and that's really interesting. I know it sounds funny, but like ad libs are really, if it's placed correctly and done correctly, it just makes that like into the song. Especially, I love her for that. I also love the way that we write. She's made me a much better songwriter than any person thus far that I've worked with. Although I've worked with some amazing people, she just gets me. You know what I mean? And then PK, he just knows how to take my voice to the next level, to places I didn't think it could go, and that's really powerful, because at my Vegas shows, I'm singing mainly to tracks, and sometimes I'll do band shows, but I'll do track shows mostly. And there's some of the songs have wiggle room, but a lot of them you're just singing it as you normally would. So there's not a lot of opportunity for creativity. So he's just made me really comfortable in the studio, when for years I wasn't. You know, I was very uncomfortable. I'm such a live performer. That's my forte. That's what I prefer any day of the week. I'd much rather be singing live than in a studio, but he's made it to where it's a fun experience, and we get excited and we laugh, and, you know, we mess up, we do it again, you know, it's great. I think the whole experience has just been, from learning from them, is just how to let go, how to have fun with it.
I'm really happy to hear that, you know, things have been going really great, and to have that chemistry and that relationship. I think it's very important, because obviously the result is just better music just all around.
Yeah, I think the fact that, you know, what started off as like a work thing, a business thing, they're my best friends. You know, like they're my best friends. He's like my brother, and she's the sister I never had. So, you know, like, yeah, it's so much more than just work.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm glad, you know, you have that kind of relationship that now it's transcended, you know, working into more of a, you know, friendship as well. Because then again, that makes the working relationship even stronger.
100%. I highly recommend people doing that.
For sure, friendship is very important.
Friendship is important.
But I did want to tell you, you did, talk about the differences between like recording in the studio and performing live. So I'm curious for you, like, do you mentally approach writing and recording differently compared to performing live in front of a crowd?
It's not that I choose to. I just think it naturally is. Performing live. Performing live is, you're in that moment. You've got the energy of the crowd. It's there. Someone else said this to me once. When you perform and let's say you mess up on a note, you immediately get to redeem yourself. If you don't do the recording the way you want, it's forever. So there's a lot of pressure in the studio to make it exactly what you want and how you want to hear over and over and over and over and over again. So I do find that there's a lot of pressure in that way. Plus, on stage, I'm listening, either to monitors or I don't love it, but in-ears. And in the studio, you've got these headsets on, and you're in this enclosed room, and you're hearing yourself like you don't normally hear yourself, and it's very confining and awkward, and it can be. But yeah, with them, after a couple takes, run-throughs of the song, like I'm like very comfortable, and it makes things so much easier. But yeah, there's a huge difference between the two, and I would always rather perform live.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even just for like what I do with recording like videos and interviews and like that stuff, like any of the like mistakes that like people see, it's usually what they hone in on because it's
Right.
Forever because it's recorded. But with live, you can kind of play into it. You can ad lib. You can change it if necessary. And I think, as you said, it makes it redeemable faster.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not like recorded live for for the end of time.
Well, and I make a lot. My whole show is it's a lot of comedy, and I almost like messing up sometimes. It's hilarious. Like I take it with a grain of salt because I am the most human person you'll ever meet. You know what I mean? Like I own those mistakes, and I think it's funny because it just shows that I am human, and I think people relate to that a lot more than just being perfect all the time. So if you can make fun of yourself, I think you're in a better position to not beat yourself up later about it. So.
Oh, definitely. It just shows, as you said, the human side that, we're not always perfect all the time.
We're not robots. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think sometimes people kind of get caught up in that it has to be perfect. You have to do everything correct. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. Like there's days where if I made it out of bed and I put my shoes on, like that's the best thing that happened that day.
Can I get an amen? Well, it really bugs me too when, and, they're just online trolls, but bless their hearts, they ain't nothing better else to do. But you'll see videos of different artists, and they're like, "Oh, look, listen to her, listen to him. She can't sing or he can't sing. This is a terrible performance." I'm like, hold on. Everybody has bad days, and as a performer, sometimes we lose our voice. Sometimes we are just exhausted. Sometimes we had something happen to us. I mean, we're supposed to go out there and make you happy, and sometimes we're not so happy. And it's very difficult to put on that front, and it's very difficult to just, sound like the record all the time. That's impossible, So I encourage everyone not to judge. If you go see a show of your favorite artist, just happens to be not the greatest show you've ever seen, give them another shot because I'm sure they were just having a bad day, and we all have them.
Oh, for sure. And I really 100% agree with that and sometimes it's not just the performer. Sometimes it's the equipment. Like I've been to shows and like the equipment 100%. Just hasn't, there's a malfunction with that, or sometimes the lights go out and it's just completely dark, like things happen that are outside of people's control.
No, I was at the show this past summer. I went to see Summer of the Gods tour with Third Eye Blind, and Yellow Card was one of the openers. And oh my God, I felt so bad for them. They had major technical issues, and they pushed through it. They put on a fantastic show, but like they were very vocal about what was happening and that they were really sorry. And no one left, I think, feeling disappointed. But I think, as performers, we're like, that was completely out of our control. That was out of their control. So it was, it happens a lot. and it looks like it's our fault, but it's not. You know, a lot of times it's the sound guy's fault. So
Unfortunately, there are situations like, and not just for like opening bands. I've seen, you know, like headliners, you know, experience. I saw Living Color last year, and it was a couple songs into their set, and just the whole bass rig just went out. So like they were trying to fix that, and you know, obviously took time for that, but they actually made it up by it going longer than their previous, you know, than the set time.
Cool. That's cool. That's really nice of them. Yeah, I mean, if you can make up for it, I mean, the fans appreciate it, but it's just something about just being honest. Like, this ain't working so good, you guys. Can we do some spoken word or something to make up for it? I don't know.
Exactly. So I'm curious for you. So you're talking about your performance schedule. That you perform, you know, 6 days a week. So like, I'm curious, you know, talking about like vocal care and that kind of stuff. So like, how do you take care of your voice with that kind of like schedule?
It's pretty tough. As you can tell, I'm kind of suffering because today's the only day off I have. And, you know, that last night's show was like, okay, am I going to get through this one? You know, so sleep, humidifier, and drinking lots of water. That's really the only advice I can give. And the only thing that really does help, rest. Stay hydrated. And that humidifier, especially here in the desert, is pretty crucial. So that's about it. There's nothing else to do. Maybe not sing so much.
Oh no, for sure. No, just the simple stuff that'll make a difference. I know even for me, you know, I mostly just do interviews, but there was a stretch where like I wasn't taking care of my voice, and it definitely, you know, even just talking, you know, it affects. So I can't imagine for like singing, you know, with that kind of schedule, how much it affects your voice and how much you do have to take care of it.
Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, today after this wonderful interview, I'm just gonna go and take the rest of the day to rest and get ready for this next week, you know. And that's just, you have to make it a priority. I don't drink alcohol because it dehydrates you and dehydrates your voice. So I can't risk it. I had to stop, you know. Even having a cocktail now and then just doesn't work for me, you know. And I want to always be at my best. I love the venues that I play at, and I want to bring it every single time. So that's another thing I kind of cut out of my life to help.
Oh no, for sure. I did the same thing a few years ago. Like I don't drink alcohol as well. Just you know, vocal care, health, you know, all that stuff. And I don't know. For me, I just never enjoyed drinking alcohol. So I was like, if I don't do it, I'm not really missing out.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the next day. I know that. I was like, this ain't worth it anymore.
Exactly.
I do drink a lot of coffee and sugar-free Red Bull, so
there we go. There's trade-offs.
I'm a simple gal.
But I do got a few more things before we head out. So like, I'm curious, so we're focusing on this set. Do you have a favorite song to perform live?
As far as my originals or covers?
How we go original and cover?
Golly, originals. Oh,
So I'll make it more challenging. Yes.
Oh, I love doing my originals. I love it so much. I think I really love Urban Cowboy. It's because it's so fantastical. The story is a fairy tale, and I love playing that out. I like being able to. I love sharing that story with people, and then they hear the song, and then I tell them about the music video, and they're curious, and then they go see it, and they see what a cool concept it is, and it was such a awesome experience to make that. So I love getting to sing that live. But I also really love country couture because it's very physical. I like to really be out in the audience when I'm singing that, just because there's so many quirky, funny, cheeky lines in it, and I like playing them out as I'm singing them. You know, like, you know, don't propose without a diamond ring, and when I drive a Bugatti, it's good for my body. I don't know. I love that one. So it'll be very, very difficult. A cover song that I love singing is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, one of my favorites. And then pretty much any power ballad. I love doing those because it's very rare I get to do them. But they're always appreciated when I do sing them, and it's really, really nice. So I don't know. it's day by day, like is what I feel like. They're like, what's your favorite song? I was like, I don't know. I think today is this favorite song and tomorrow is that, probably gonna be that. So I don't know.
No, I got it. Very dynamic. I know it's a challenging question, but I'm just curious, what songs kind of inspire or draw people, especially when they perform live, and especially getting that crowd reaction, especially for like different songs as well.
Well, the fact that Urban Cowboy and Country Couture are so new, I love singing them before I let them know that it's my song. And then they always are like, what song was that? And I'm like, oh my God, it's mine, And it's really neat to see the reactions that, they like the song without knowing it was mine. So those are always the most fun.
Oh, definitely. It's just so cool to hear they getting the nice positive reactions with those songs because they're just so cool. And I'm, obviously in a live setting, I bet they're even cooler for the performance side as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really neat. And, I'm looking forward to this year. We're putting together the band. Cause like I said, I primarily played a track stacker in Vegas. So we're going to be doing a lot of showrooms with the band and getting to perform that live with the band. I cannot wait. That's going to be a game changer. And my new release coming out this year is called Last Name. I love singing that one too. And I probably shouldn't because people like it and then they can't go download it. So I gotta get on the stick with that one.
Oh, for sure. Well, for anyone who hasn't heard the upcoming single, what can they expect, musically and lyrically?
It's actually different than the two. For the most part, Urban Cowboy and Country Couture are, mid-tempo to upbeat, and they've got this, it's a lot of color when you hear the song, a lot of color. And Last Name is a little more emotional. It's still got a great beat. It's a jam, but the lyrics just hit so hard. I really loved writing this with my dear friend Derek Robertson and of course PK and Trish, but Derek was entered into the mix, and he is a phenomenal songwriter and always has been. And went up to St. Louis and wrote this with him, and the story behind it is just so special, and I feel that people are really going to resonate with it. It's something almost everybody can relate to. So, but it's got a little bit more of emotion. It's not quite a ballad, but it's cool. I'm really excited. I love sharing stories. I love being a storyteller.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've liked the previous release so far, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking the single out when it's released. But it's always so cool just to, for storytelling and stuff to share different kind of, elements and stories with people and just seeing their reactions as well.
Yeah, it's really fun. I try to write about things that people normally wouldn't discuss or write about. But also try to keep it mainstream. Still, what would people want to hear on the radio? What would move them and excite them? And so, there's that balance. But I do love songwriting. I love storytelling. I love performing live. I love that this is what I'm doing. And I encourage everybody, if you're in the Las Vegas area, come see me. It's really easy to see me. Just go to calitucker.com and click dates. And, let me know that you listened to the show and you came to see me.
Well, I will make it even easier. I will leave the link for your website in the description of this podcast. If you do head out to Vegas or you're in the Vegas area, make sure to see her live.
Yeah.
But now, as we're closing this interview out, so kind of talked about what's going on for early 2025, but what's your plans for the rest of the year?
It's doing these showcases with the band and writing and recording more. Country Couture, the boutique is going to be elevated to the next level. Right now, it's really cute, awesome merch that me and my team have created, and I love it. Everybody seems to be digging it, so it's fun to have merch out there available for everyone. But we're going to take it to the next level and start doing some design work and really creating some one-of-a-kind pieces. And then Urban Cowboy, I have something very special coming for that. So a lot of good things. So a lot of new live performances and some really cool items that are going to go along with each of the songs.
Well, it sounds like you have some incredible things in the works. I look forward to seeing, how your year progressed and what you come up with for 2025. But Callie, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio. I had a fantastic time chatting with you.
You are so sweet. Thank you, Matthew. Oh, you're awesome.
Of course. Well, I really appreciate it. I will leave some links for Cali Tucker in the description of this podcast. Please check out and support her. Make sure to see her live in Las Vegas. For Cali Tucker, I'm your host always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.
Hey.